I can talk 8576. This is a response vid to Mooney Brown TV. I just came upon his channel. He had a video about exposing Zone Six, my dude Zone Six, of being the number one Keith Thurman fan, and he said he was trying to justify why Keith Thurman is ducking spins. Well, I'm the number two Keith Thurman fan, and Keith Thurman is not ducking Errol Spence. Zone 6 has never tried to justify Keith Thurman ducking Errol Spence. Keith Thurman is coming off an injury. He needs a tune-up. Everybody agreed, even you agreed in your video that Keith Thurman needs a tune-up. Okay. Now Sean Porter has worked his way to being the WBC number one contender for Keith Thurman's belt WBC title. So Keith Thurman said he wants to fight his mandatory. He wants to fight his mandatory after he fight a warm up. There's no ducking Errol Spence if the man wants to get his tune up, which everybody agreed to that he should have, and see what this man is trying to do. He's trying to get his tune up. He's trying to get his mandatory out the way, because I just listened to a interview with 78. He was interviewing Deontay Wilder, and 78 asked Deontay Wilder what does he think about the Errol Spence Keith Thurman situation, and Wilder said that okay, the man is injured. Okay, let him have his mandatory. Let him have his warm up, his comeback fight. His tune up, and then he said, and he believes Sean Porter is his mandatory. And 78 said, yeah. He said, yeah, because if I was Keith Thurman, I'd fight my tune up, then I'd fight my mandatory. Because he said, I don't want him going through the same thing I went through with Stavern. That's why you want to get all your ducks in a row and get that stuff out the way. Because Sean Porter is still going to be there. Like, now, if the WBC work with him and say, okay, you can fight a unification match and you won't get stripped of your title and you can go ahead and fight Errol Spence, then I'll be like, okay, yeah, you know what I'm saying, let the fight happen. But if they say you going to get stripped and you got to fight Sean Porter, of course you're going to fight Sean Porter. The man ain't going to let his belts go. That's period, point blank. And I truly believe Al Heyman has promised your boy Porter his mandatory match. That's why he's taking the mandatory match. That's why he's taking the mandatory fight. That's why he's saying he's not going to fight. See, this all stems from that he said he's not going to fight Errol Spence in 2019. Because he said he want to fight his tune-up and he want to fight his mandatory. You know what I'm saying? That's why he said he won't, and then that's why he said he's not going to fight Errol Spence until 2019, because none of these guys is fighting 3 times in 1 year. None of these guys from this point on in their career will fight 3 times in 1 year. So y'all need to get off of that. We all need to stop fantasizing. Of course, you want to see these guys in the ring as much as possible, but these guys are not going to fight more than 2 times in 1 year. And if the man say he wants to fight a tune-up and he wants to fight his mandatory, that's not a duck on Errol Spence. How is that a duck on Errol Spence if the man fighting his tune-up and he's fighting his mandatory? Because his tune-up is his tune-up and his mandatory is his mandatory. Now, if he didn't have any injury, if he wasn't coming back from an injury and he said, I want to tune-up and then I want to fight my mandatory, then I would be like, okay, he's ducking. You know what I'm saying? I think he's ducking because he don't have any problems. He don't have no physical problems. Why can't he fight Errol Spence in one of those fights? But the injury set the man back. If you ever competed in a sport and you ever got injured, injuries set you back. It sets your timetable back. So the man I want to make sure the man is 100% before he fights Sean Porter or Errol Spence. So his tune-up, we don't even know what's going to happen leading up to the tune-up in training camp, or we don't even know what's going to happen in the fight. The man's elbow still could not be right. And then that just pushes the Errol Spence fight back even further. So he doesn't even know how his elbow is going to react. You know what I'm saying? I had a little boxing career, so I understand on how the training is harder physically on you than the fight. You throw a lot of punches, you spar a bunch of rounds, you spar a lot of rounds. You're hitting the pads, you're hitting the punching bag, you're hitting the speed bag, you hitting the double end bag. You putting a lot of stress on your elbow in training camp. So we have to see if the man even gets through training camp before we start saying, oh, why he not fighting Errol Spence in his second fight? To me, he's playing it smart. He understands Spence is a challenge. He understands that he has to be 100% to perform against Errol Spence because the type of fighter Errol Spence is and the type of fighter that even Porter is. So, and then you say that Errol Spence been calling Keith Thurman now for 4 years. Man, you going off of what Mayweather put his arms around around Errol Spence and said, I will put my belt up for Errol Spence to fight Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman came back and said, okay, you want us to fight, give me $10 million. Mayweather, shut up. So how is that a duck? If a man, because Mayweather was a promoter at the time, I believe, yeah, Mayweather was a promoter. I think he had his promoter license at the time. And he was acting as a promoter. He said, I will put up my belt. I will drop my belt so y'all can fight for the vacant title. So Errol Spence and Keith Thurman can fight for I think he said his vacant WBC title. And Keith Thurman came back and said, give me $10 million then. You want the fight to happen? Give me $10 million. Mayweather opened up his mouth. Keith Thurman said, give me $10 million or keep your mouth closed. So Mayweather didn't offer the $10 million because Keith Thurman did say, give me $10 million, I will fight Errol Spence. How was that a duck? You tell me how that's a duck. Mayweather put his offer out there, and Keith Thurman put his offer out there. Mayweather got so much money, that $10 million is nothing to Mayweather. $10 million is nothing to Mayweather. Mayweather dropped $10 million in one day shopping. So put the $10 million up, he would have had to fight. If he believed that much in Errol Spence, he would have put the $10 million up. So he didn't put the $10 million up. So that means keep your mouth closed. Keep your fucking mouth closed. If you ain't gonna put the $10 million up, then shut up. So, and then another thing. These guys at welterweight are belt holders anyway. All of them belt holders. None of them champions. Errol Spence is not a champion. He's a belt holder. Keith Thurman is not a champion. He's a unified belt holder. Jeff Horn is not a champion. He's a belt holder. Crawford was a champion. He had all the belts. There was no other belt holder at 140. That's a champion. That's what you got to, you know what I'm saying? I know you said you wanted a body zone, but you can't body zone if you got to have all your information right. You got to have all your ducks in a row. Mayweather has never been a champion. He's been a belt holder. He's been a unified belt holder. Now, he has held every title at welterweight at some point, but he never held all of them at the same time. He's never been a champion. He's been a multiple belt holder in multiple weight classes. That's how it goes. I don't call anybody a champion unless they are the only one in the division that has the belt. Now, you can say somebody's a lineal champion. You know what I'm saying? Or you can say this guy can beat that guy. But until you hold all the belts in the division, you're not a champion. Mayweather had a chance to be a champion. All he had to do after he beat Pacquiao, all he had to do was go fight Kell Brook. Guess who he fought? He fought your boy Berto. He fought Berto. He didn't want to be a champion. He didn't want to go. And then you said, Mayweather didn't fight Keith Thurman because he fight guys that have a country behind them. What country was behind Berto? Kell Brook had a country behind him. He had the UK behind him. What country was behind Andre Berto? That's the second one. Now I'm going to zip up your body bag. That's the second one. What country was behind Andre Berto? But anyway, let's get back to this whole Keith Thurman Errol Spence thing. So Keith Thurman is not ducking Errol Spence. Period. Point blank. Right now, Errol Spence has to focus on Lamont Peterson. Keith Thurman has to focus on his tune-up fight, which I don't like to call boxing matches tune-up fights, because when you do that, you know what I'm saying, your mental state can get all whacked out and you can end up having a subpar performance against your so-called tune-up, or you can end up losing to a so-called tune-up. There is no such thing as tune-ups in boxing anyway. So whoever he fights will be pushing him to the limit because they understand he's coming off an injury. They understand he's coming off an elbow injury. But you got to snap your elbow to punch. That's how you punch. You snap your elbow. So, like I said, Keith Thurman is not ducking Errol Spence. Mayweather ducked Keith Thurman for a year. He was his mandatory for a year, and he didn't fight the man. And you saying, so now you're justifying why Mayweather didn't fight Keith Thurman. You're saying Keith Thurman didn't have a country behind him. So that means you're trying to justify why Mayweather didn't fight Keith Thurman. You see you see how that works? You see how that works? You can't zip up the body bag, man. Your body gonna be in the body bag when you're zipping it up, because your points that you made, they were not accurate, man. The man is not ducking Errol Spence. That's not accurate. That's not accurate at all. Mayweather has never been a champion. That's not accurate. Fight guys that only have countries behind them. That's not accurate. You tell me what country was behind Andre Berto. He had a chance to be a champion. All he had to do was go across the pond or bring Kell Brook over here. We know Mayweather's not going to go across the pond. Far be it for Mayweather to have to travel to go do something like a real fighter does. Travel. You know, fighters travel. He don't even want to travel outside Las Vegas. He hasn't fought outside Las Vegas in years. He don't even want to fight in different states in the United States. This man, well, I know he's not going to the UK, but he could have brought Kell Brook over here, offered Kell Brook enough money to come over here to fight for the IBF title. Why didn't he do that? Spence had to go over there and get the belt from Kell Brook. Mayweather didn't go over there when he had the chance to go over there and be a champion. But, man, that's what all I got to say, man. This box talk 857 6 I'm out.